Genesis 19. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat at the gates of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. He bowed himself with his face towards the ground. And he said, Behold now, my Lord, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye rise up early, and go on your way. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly. And they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did break unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and they said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, so that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after them, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof, and they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came into sojourn, and he will need to be a judge. And now we will deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord. And the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his son-in-laws, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his son-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in iniquity of the city. Iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon his hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, O not so, my Lord. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight. and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast sown unto me in saving my life. I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold now, behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one, and my soul shall live? And he said unto him, I see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape hither, for I cannot do anything till thou hast come hither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zor. The sun was risen up the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. The Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind, and so she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and towards all the lands of the plain, and behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of the furnace. And it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his two daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in the cave, he and his two daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they make their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father. He perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass in the morrow that the firstborn said to the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve the seed of our father. And they make their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab, and the same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. What happened? Why is my head getting cut off? Man, Genesis 19 is one of the darkest, most terrifying, and highly graphic chapters of the Bible. It brings the multi-chapter storyline of Sodom and Gomorrah to a catastrophic, fiery end. Literally, this chapter serves as the ultimate punchline to chapter 18. Sorry, Abraham had just bargained God down, asking if he would spare the region for the sake of just 10 righteous people. Chapter 19 slams the door on that hope, demonstrating that the city is entirely depraved. It stands as a dark mirror to Abraham's life, contrasting the pristine desert hospitality with the horrific hostility of the urban plains. The chapter opens at the evening with two angels arriving at the gates of Sodom. Lot is sitting at the gate, which means he is no longer just a nomadic neighbor living near the city. As in chapter 13, he has become an integrated, high ranking civic leader or elder in the Sodomite society. Lot spots the travelers and, mimicking his uncle Abraham, insists that they come into his house for safety, washing their feet and baking them a feast. But the moment they close the door, the narrative shifts from a peaceful dinner into an intense psychological horror. The text notes that all the people from every quarter, both young and old, surround Lot's house. They demand Lot drag his guests outside so they can know them, a Hebrew euphemism for gang rape. This crowd dynamic proves that there are not even 10 righteous people in the entire city. The systemic violent degradation of human boundaries has corrupted everyone. In a desperate, shocking move that showcases how much Sodom's warped culture has corrupted Lot's own morality, he tries to protect his guests by offering his two virgin daughters to the mob instead. The angels step in and strike the entire crowd with blindness and pull Lot back inside. By morning, the angels practically have dragged a lingering, hesitant Lot, his wife, and two daughters out of the city gates, warning them, "Escape for thy life, look not behind thee." As soon as they reach the tiny neighboring city of Zohar, the sky falls. Verse 24 states, "Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven." The ancient Near Eastern reader, brimstone meant sulfur. The Jordan Valley sits directly on a massive volatile tectonic fault line the Dead Sea transforms. Historically, archaeological sites in the region, such as Ba'idra and Tahi-Haman, show ancient evidence that the catastrophic burn layers collapsed mud brick, and sulfur deposits. The biblical narrative frames this real-world geological volatility as a targeted act of divine supernatural execution against society built on violent injustice. Abraham's tent, high elevation, cool breeze, hospitality, life is promised, lost urban valley, low elevation, heavy smoke, hostility, death executed. As the city is burned, Lot's wife disobeys direct angelic command. She stops, turns around, looks back, and instantly transforms into a pillar of salt. The Hebrew phrasing implies more than a quick glance over her shoulder. It suggests a deep, longing gaze of attachment. She didn't want to leave. The Dead Sea region is completely surrounded by a massive, surreal rock salt formation to this day. Her transformation stands as a permanent, tragic monument to the danger of anchoring your heart and identity to a corrupt system that is under judgment. The chapter concludes on a bizarre, distressing note that echoes the dark fall of Noah's drunkenness in Genesis 9. Lot and his two daughters are terrified, hiding out in an isolated cave in the mountains, believing that the entire world has been destroyed and that there are no men left on earth to continue their The daughters concoct a desperate, incestuous plot. They get their father heavily intoxicated, and the two consecutive nights sleep with him and both become pregnant. The children born from these unions are named Moab and Ben-Ami. The ancient Israelite audience reading the later reading this later in history, this genealogical detail was a massive piece of political context. Moab and Ben-Ami became the founding patriarchs of the Moabites and the Ammonites, two bordering nations that would become fierce, bitter enemies of Israel for centuries. Genesis 19 traces the roots of these future geopolitical wars right back to the smoky, traumatized ruins of the collapse of Sodom.